Welcome, Lee.
Thank you. Nice to have you. Oh, nice to be here.
You can host if you want and ask the questions.
I know. Well, that's the problem. I'm used to doing that as well. So, yeah, I do that a little bit. So it's on the other foot today.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's enjoyable being
Thank
questioned. I'll try not to make you sweat, although it is warm in this podcast booth, wasn't it? It's quite warm. When we come to talking about health, it's like getting a little bit.
No, that's all good. That's all good.
So you are here at the water cooler with Modern Health.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about your work at Modern Health and what Modern Health is.
Thank you. Yeah. So Modern Health. So what do we do? Good question, actually. So we go into workplaces and we deliver what we call adaptive care. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when we think about adaptive care, what we really focus on is how do we meet the unique needs of each person. So that total workforce when it comes to mental health, right? So our adaptive care model means that we put together a personalised care plan effectively for each individual, right? So a good example of that is today I might be struggling with everyday life and just getting my girls up for school, getting their tights on in the morning, trying to get them out through the school gates, right?
A mission.
Yeah, it is a mission. I don't understand why tights are so important to my girls, but they are. So, that's just like life's ups and downs, but that can really impact, questions my parenting skills. It also causes a bit of anxiety, and it also means that when I'm coming into my professional day, I'm not really probably well equipped to come into that first meeting. So I might be dealing with that today, but then next week, maybe I've had a family bereavement, right? So how do we really meet the needs of each individual and ensure that care is personalised and adaptive to what they're dealing with at that moment in time? So that's an area we really focus on here at Modern Health.
And how? Because that is a big challenge. I'm completely in support and behind you on that ambition of personalised individual health and meeting our employees, our workforces where they're at.
Yeah.
These different areas of life that present real challenge, like getting tights on, as well as, the health experiences, the unexpected things, bereavements. But what's the mechanism? What's the vehicle?
What's the secret sauce, right? So again, a big part of what we do is part of our triaging process when someone comes into our platform.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you were coming into Modern Health today, we're going to understand the areas you want to focus on today, right? Whether that's stress, anxiety, whatever it might be. We're then going to also look to understand how you want to receive support.
Okay.
Do you want to engage with a therapist, a counsellor, a coach? Maybe you're not at that point. Maybe you want to go on a digital journey that suits your need. Yeah. And what we do see is different preferences across the globe as well. So a good example of that is therapy, coaching or counselling, maybe here in the UK, across Europe and the US is more readily used and accepted. But actually when we go into places like APAC or South America, they're not at that stage, right? So that preference around mode of care is also super important. And then it's also about kind of cultural preferences as well. Do I want to be working with a provider or content that is in my native language, for example? So it's kind of those three areas: preferences, clinical need focus areas, right? But then also mode of care, which really enables us to get them into the right level of support and personalised support. And then behind that, we've got 86,000 providers across the globe.
Okay.
So it's a combination of the technology, our triaging process, and that provider network.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So you mentioned globe.
Yes.
So you are a global service. Yeah. And are you more involved in some markets, and what's that look like?
Good question. So from day one, so we were established back in, I'll get in trouble here, 2019, right? And from day one, we've been a global first organisation. Okay, so that means really where we excel is supporting those organisations that have that diverse spread of people.
Okay.
That's the challenge we're trying to solve for in reality. One of the things we hear from HR leaders is, so maybe I've got support for my people in the UK through a traditional EAP. Maybe over in the US, we've got another provider, but then there's certain populations and pockets, maybe a population in India, we've got no support for. How as a HR team do we manage that? How do we deliver consistent communication and a consistent experience? And the reality is they struggle with that. So again, that's where we really come in and say, well, we can get our arms around all of that for you and take away some of that challenge for you. So yeah, we've got organisations like sort of Intel, Visa, right down to smaller organisations that really have those kind of global populations. So supporting very much across the globe with that network.
Interesting, I was chatting with the Techno Gym guy earlier about the use of a lot of this kind of more modernised, tech-driven gym equipment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm old school, I like a dumbbell. So I was a bit like, is this really necessary? And then I did it, the chest press, the gamification of it and the digital kind of guide. And I was like, wow, that was really useful, but that's not in my gym, sadly.
Well, having dumbbells is like a step up from me, so, right?
You're just lifting up your children.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, and they started to tell me a little bit about the trends in the international engagement with products like that, how it seems quite new to me, and I kind of like to think that I kind of know enough about gym equipment and think a bit of a gym bunny. But he was saying that in some countries there's way more further down the line with some of this digital stuff. I think in Germany maybe it was, they're just absolutely loving this like digital led interactive fitness equipment, die hard for it. And it made me think it's tricky to get those visibility of those trends, because there must be differences in different countries and the way people approach things. Apparently the Australians aren't that into it because they're obviously just like being outside.
Out on the beach doing it, right?
Exactly,
and you probably would be, right?
Yes, exactly. So I am quite fascinated. Like, have you got any insights you can share or things that just demonstrate like?
So I think a good example, and it's a really great point, and again, that's when we think about that like global health equity, that is something that organisations do really struggle with, knowing what's going to work for different populations. So we deliver a global engagement study that actually calls out some of those trends, because through our platform, what we also equip organisations with is anonymous insights that's in real time, right? So a HR lead can go in and, again, depending on the size of the organisation, really drill down confidently to understand what's working and what engagement are we seeing in certain demographics and locations. That then helps to also steer relevant initiatives, changes into certain locations. So a good example, as I mentioned, we do see that over in like APAC, for example, I think it's about 53% of individuals that start on a digital journey, because actually individuals over there are more inclined to start on a digital journey than therapy, counselling or coaching. 53% of those that start in that way, that's kind of a gateway that then leads them on to be comfortable with and explore therapy, counselling and coaching.
Interesting.
Right, so and that organisation, we get those insights, we publish those every year based on location and demographic. But then when working with organisations, our customer success team work very closely to look at that data with clients and help steer initiatives into the right places as well.
Shape solutions that fit that. That's really really useful. So in terms of this product then, and my apologies for not
That's all right.
knowing, what does it actually look like versus kind of classic EAP?
Well, I'll tell you very, very simply there. In terms of that triaging model and that technology, that front door through a digital service, you don't typically get with a traditional EAP that's like, telephone service, etc. With our platform, we also guarantee when they come through that app experience across the globe, time to care for a therapist, counsellor or coach is under 1 day. And we deliver that globally.
Yeah.
So a big part of that is the technology and how it facilitates the ability to actually get people connected with the right support, that personalised support at the right time. So I guess, that digital experience, that user experience we provide is what really helps us kind of stand out and drive that engagement and deliver on some of those bits that we just touched on.
So do you think utilisation then is more, is improved, is better because
100%.
of that?
Yeah, so the way we position ourselves is as a total workforce solution. Yeah, so typically many solutions either like might be great at the crisis care with therapy. It's probably only really speaking to 5-10% of the workforce.
Yeah, that's ambitious.
Yeah, correct. Maybe some, like there's some other great products out there that might be habit building, but just focus on that area. That might be working for 20% of the workforce, but no one out there was really meeting the need holistically of the total workforce. So again, that's where we come in and see, engagement typically around like 25 or even up to, we've seen some instances of like 30% and above in organisations. So yeah, and that's a combination of the technology and also the way we personalise the support for people.
Yeah, awesome. And there's been a bit of chat today about, this past 2 days about AI, and are there some AI elements? How's that integrating into?
Correct. So we're working hard on AI. So we've done some bits last year in terms of some acquisitions as well, to bring some AI capability into the organisation. So we're currently growing out that side of the business as well. Some of the focus areas when it comes to AI at the moment are certainly around, I guess, that triaging, matching process, but also then what tools can we give to our providers that can help them in the background, right? So again, like note-taking tools that we see. How can we equip the providers to continue delivering that quality of care in the best fashion as well? So we are focusing a little bit there as well.
Yeah. And what goes on in-house in terms of supporting wellbeing for the modern health team?
Great question, really. So all sorts. So we, first and foremost, we have access. We what's the saying? We eat our own dog food. I think that's the saying, isn't it? Have I got that right? Something like that. Maybe there's other ways you can put that as well, right? We won't go to there. But we will have access to Modern Health, right? So as an example, I use Modern Health for coaching. My wife uses Modern Health.
Family,
yeah, exactly. So first and foremost, we all get access to our own tools and support. We also have reset days across the course of the year. We could kind of put those types of bits in.
You might need one tomorrow.
Might need one after this week. I might do, you're right. And then flexible working, right? We're a remote first company as well, remote first organisation. So come back to what I said at the start, I've got 2 young children. So for me, what's really important is that flexibility as well, being able to do that school run and then know that actually that's okay, and I can work my day around these bits with the organisation, knowing that actually, yes, he's doing these bits, but we're getting done what we need to get done.
Yeah, I love that. It's so important, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, the stress that comes from school runs and
that doesn't sometimes
design.
It doesn't always solve that challenge, but the flexibility is important.
Yeah. You just deal with all the traffic as well. That'd be great.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. And last thing, what do you do to look after your own well-being? Like,
gardening.
Gardening, yes.
Gardening. I love being out in nature. So it sounds like you do the gym, right? For me, cycling, running, but gardening is the thing. And the reason I love gardening is it does allow me to completely disconnect from technology, digital and the noise. I can just like focus on one kind of relatively simple task, but I also get my girls involved with it. And do you know what I really notice with my girls is when they come out and engage in that, their personality shifts, their focus shifts as well. So I benefit from it, but I also see like the benefits to my daughters from being out of the house, off devices, whatever it is, and doing that as well.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, isn't it? Like I've got 2 little ones as well, and just getting them outside in the garden after school. Like it's easy to stay in and sort of get them through tea time and bedtime, but actually now it's warmer and nicer in the evening. We're having half an hour outside, and it's just that everyone enjoys those hours between 5 and 7 with a young family. Or fun. It's a bit nicer if we just spend a little bit of time in the garden, and the mess matters less as well.
Correct.
More relaxed. So like if you want spaghetti bolognese, you can have it in the garden.
Eat it outside. Do your painting, whatever it is, outside. Get out of the house with it.
Exactly. Oh, it's been so nice to chat, Lou. We're streaming a bit more time, but we're back to back today. But thanks for spending the time telling us about Modern Health.
Thank you.
We'll look forward to hearing and seeing more. We'll share a link as part of the podcast, and maybe you can join us in the community live sometime and chat to some members and share a bit about what you've got going on.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Pleasure.
Thanks a lot.